Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving Bella Goth a bit of a makeover. I thought it was about time I did a makeover for Bella Goth because she's pretty iconic. I've been playing Sims since Sims 1. She's always been one of my favourite characters. And I feel like Max has kind of did her dirty with the way she looks in Sims 4. So I just thought I'd give her a little bit of a makeover to make her look a little bit better. So I'm just going to be starting out with her everyday makeup. I kind of like what they did with the smoky eyes and the darker lips. That's pretty iconic for Bella Goth, but I'm not really a fan of the blue eyeshadow they gave, so that was one of the first things I wanted to change. Next up, I moved on to her eyebrows. Initially, I kind of wanted to go for some kind of more arched, fuller eyebrows, because they're quite straight, the eyebrows they gave her, which I don't think really fit her character. So I spent some time kind of looking around at eyebrows, and I decided to go for a slightly more arched style than what she had before. For her everyday hair, I really wanted to go for a side part. I think it suits her to have something quite glamorous, and that's kind of how I remember her from Sims 1, so that's why I went for that. And I went for the same hairstyle for her formal hair as well, because I don't know, when I think of Bella Goth, I think of her to be quite glamorous and quite formal all of the time. So even when she's, as I'm moving on to kind of her athletic and her sleepwear as well, I wanted to go for quite glamorous styles even when she's not out and about in public. I also really like the side plait for her hair as well, so I ended up changing my mind for the athletic wear and going for that with the swimwear and the athletic wear, and I think it really suits her, that does. Next up, I moved on to her makeup for her formal wear, and again I wanted to keep it pretty traditional to what I think of when I think of Bella Goth. So I went pretty smoky on the eyes and pretty dark on the lips. I think of red lips and smoky eyes when I think of Bella Goth, so that's what I kind of tended to go for when I was going for the formal wear. In terms of like the sleepwear and the athletic and, you know, the swimwear, I wanted to go for something more understated, but when I think of Bella Goth, I kind of think of a sim that would be glamorous even when she is sleeping and even when she is going swimming. She seems like the sort of sim that would be dolled up even if she's at the gym. I think the Goth family have always been one of my favourite, if not probably my favourite family from The Sims. From Sims 1 to Bustin' Out. I think they were in Bustin' Out anyway. I sort of remember you having to live with the Goth family and do a seance. And then in Sims 2, you know, with the disappearance of Bella Goth, they've just always been a family that have intrigued me, I suppose. And I've always loved the aesthetic of the family. They've always been fun to play because they've had a lot of money. And I suppose as I've grown up and consider myself a pretty alternative person, it's just always been a family that I've been drawn to playing, and I've always had a lot of fun with them. I always really liked playing with Cassandra Goth as well, even though I always thought she had kind of geeky style in Sims 1 and Sims 2. I like what they did with Cassandra Goth's story with Don Lothario in Sims 2. And then in Sims 4, I feel like they've made her really, really pretty. So I've been having a load of fun playing with her in Sims 4. And I put her with Caleb Vitor, you know, the guy from the Vampires pack. And let me tell you this, they make really damn cute kids. So if you haven't already, I would suggest putting them together because they make really cute kids. So now I'm just moving on to jewellery for Bella. And I wanted to keep it pretty traditional to what she'd wear, so I just went for glamour. I wanted kind of classic gothic glamour, so that's what I went for with her. I used quite a lot of the vampire pack for when I was styling her, just because it fitted with her aesthetic, so that's what I tended to go for. I've just realised you can probably hear my dog tapping his little feet in the background. So if you heard that in the background and wondered what it is, then yeah, it's my dog. He's pretty inquisitive and he likes to be around me, so that's probably what you can hear. So next up I moved on to Bella's everyday clothes. When I think of Bella, I always think of red and black and quite formal, quite glamorous, quite sultry sort of clothes. So that's what I decided to sort of go with when I was deciding on what her everyday clothes were to be. I really loved how this kind of sheer top from the vampire pack and this skirt looked together, and I felt like that really, it looked how I imagined Bella's clothes to look. Although I thought the sheer top was just a little bit too sultry for every day. I felt like she still needed to be quite sophisticated, so I decided to go for the halter neck top and kind of paired that with some jewellery, posh watch, necklace, earrings, and the gloves, because I wanted it to be sort of like 50s glamour, but a bit more goth, so that's sort of what I went for. So I'm just layering up with some more rings over the gloves, because I think when we think of the Goth family, I imagine that they're sort of a family that would flex a little bit. I feel like she would not hesitate to wear a lot of jewellery to show off her wealth. So why not add some more jewellery? So next up I moved on to the formal wear, and I really like this black glittery dress that I chose initially. But I felt like it just had to be the black lace that I went for. It just screamed Bella Goth, and I just love the way it looks on her. And then I changed up the jewellery to this red and silver jewellery, just because I felt like the black jewellery was just a little bit too much for the black dress, and I still wanted to just get a little bit more red in there. And just to top things off with just a little bit more, I added some red gloves, because why not? I felt like her athletic wear needed a little bit of work, so I just made that a little bit more goth. You know, I love that it showed off a six-pack, but it just wasn't goth enough for me, so I changed that up. In terms of her sleepwear, I didn't change it. Didn't think it needed changing. I think it fitted her already, so I kept that as it was. For her party wear, I ended up going for this wrap skirt because I really liked the way it hugged her figure, and I ended up going for the same sheer top that I almost went for the everyday. I felt like it fitted her party wear a little bit more, just because it was just a little bit more sultry than her everyday stuff. And the fishnets and high heels are just a reminder Dawn to not flirt with her on the deck anymore. What does everyone think happened to Bella Goth in Sims 2? Are we blaming the Caliante twins? Are we blaming Don Lothario? Is there something else going on? Leave your opinion in the comments below. Personally, I think it had a lot to do with Don on that deck that night. And I think that the Caliante twins, because they're part alien, had something to do with the disappearance as well. Bella Goth's disappearance is by far the best Sims conspiracy maxis have ever come out with. I don't think anything's ever going to top that one. For Bella's summer clothes, I went for this black skater style dress and a big floppy hat, because it's everything I imagine summer Bella to wear. I thought this was pretty fitting for her winter clothes as well, so thank you for watching today. Let me know if you like these sort of videos, if you like me doing voiceovers, and I can do more of this sort of thing if it's what you want to see. I'll speak to you soon. Bye!